Welcome to a Holy Trinity production podcast, and today we're doing a deep dive into the life and legacy of St. John Chrysostom.
Yeah.
This guy's a pretty big deal in early
It's
Christianity,
huge.
and we're going to go beyond just the basics.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not just the who, it's the why.
Right.
What made this guy so impactful?
Exactly.
That his ideas still resonate like centuries later.
Well, you know, one of the things that's really fascinating about St. John Chrysostom is that he was really good at bridging the gap between like super complicated theology and like everyday life.
Okay.
And that's, I think, where the nickname Golden Mouthed comes in.
Okay.
We're not just talking about like, oh, he was a good speaker.
Gotcha.
It's more that his sermons were known for their clarity and the ability to connect with like everyone, from the most learned scholar to the common person on the street.
When you say connect, what does that actually look like? Is it like fiery, passionate delivery? Or was it more just like beautifully crafted language?
I think it was a combination.
Okay.
So like imagine this. He's explaining the concept of divine grace.
Okay.
Right? Which is kind of a heady, theological idea.
Right. Yeah.
But he would weave in these real life examples.
Oh, wow.
And stories that people could really relate to, based on their own experience.
So he could kind of make you feel like the scriptures were speaking directly to your life?
Totally.
Almost like to your struggles.
Exactly.
Offering guidance.
Yeah. And so he wasn't afraid to get practical.
It makes his focus on social justice even more interesting.
Yes.
It wasn't just theoretical for him.
No, not at all.
He actually called out the wealthy.
He did.
And powerful for their excesses.
Very much so.
And he did that even when it was risky.
So he believed that living a Christian life meant caring for the poor, the marginalized, the forgotten. So his sermons were filled with all these, critiques of social injustice, of the gap between the rich and the poor.
Wow.
And he wasn't afraid to name names.
I bet that made him some enemies.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Which leads right into this whole thing about his exile.
Right.
Which is a pretty dramatic turn of events.
Yeah.
It sounds like his outspokenness wasn't just about theological debates.
No.
It was about holding a mirror up to society.
Exactly. He was exiled for his criticism of those in power, particularly the empress at the time.
Wow.
And it's a real testament to his integrity that he didn't back down from his convictions.
Even when it cost him.
Even when it cost him dearly.
It's amazing that even after being exiled, his influence continued to grow.
It is.
His writings became like cornerstones of Christian thought.
Right.
And then there's his prayer, St. John Chrysostom.
Right.
Which is still so widely used today.
Yeah, and it wasn't just, theological treatises. Yeah. He wrote about family life.
Really? Raising children with Christian values.
Wow.
And he wrote about the importance of marriage.
Interesting.
And, it makes you wonder how his own experiences influenced his views.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because he saw firsthand the corruption and the moral decay within the empire.
Right.
And so he believed that strong families, rooted in faith, were essential for the well-being of society.
It's incredible how one person, even centuries ago, can have such a lasting impact.
It really is.
What aspect of St. John Chrysostom's story or teaching stands out to you most?
I would have to say his courage.
Okay.
The courage to speak truth to power, to challenge the status quo.
Right.
Even when it meant personal sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's something that I think resonates across time and cultures.
It really makes you think about the challenges that we face today.
Absolutely.
And how his example can inspire us to act with integrity and compassion.
Couldn't agree more. If you're intrigued by what you've heard, I encourage you to explore St. John Chrysostom's writings.
They're great.
They offer a wealth of wisdom and insight.
Absolutely.
That remains relevant even now.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the life and legacy of St. John Chrysostom.
My pleasure.
We'll see you next time.
Sounds good.